MegaCon. Where does MegaCon kind of fit in that like social strata?
Okay, well, that's a good question. I would say, well, MegaCon is one of those like franchised things. Like, like the week after that, it was in London. The week after that was in
Okay, so
that
it's
kind of
so it's
thing.
a bit of a DCC.
Yeah, that kind of thing. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. But it's in the RDS in Dublin. And the
Hmm.
reason we like it is the most family friendly convention. And actually, I found it interesting because I'm a teacher when I'm not like trying to think of a non-swear word, gabbing on here. Uh,
Professional podcaster.
and it's the first time I noticed that students of mine, like 5 and 6 year olds, because I teach drama, were actually planning on going to MegaCon. And that was like I found that really encouraging because it's a con that's all on one floor. Uh, there's like they've got it really nicely laid out. You walk in, all the like artists and merchandise people, they seem to be all like local, which is always cool. Uh they're right in front of you as you go in. To the left, there's a huge kids play section with like massive like slides and bouncy castles and all that kind of stuff. To your left, kind of or what would you call it? Maybe left and a bit more to closer to you, there's a cafe, and to the right there's like all these like places you can like go for Eddie Rockets and like food trucks and all that kind of stuff. And if you're willing to make it all the way to the far north, all of your kind of celebrity guests are all there grouped together, almost no queues, uh like a nice photo booth right nearby, and in the top right corner you have your kind of stage for like panels and all costume competition, all that kind of stuff. And in the mix, there's like gaming and stuff and all that. And like, I think you'd enjoy this even if you didn't have kids. But just you and I have done the DCC, and like half of the day is spent just getting from A to B. And
Yeah.
we found this one to be this is our third time going now, and we find this one to be like the least overwhelming, if that makes sense. My sister went and she found it a bit like overwhelming, but like I think if she had gone to like say one of the bigger cons, it that would have not been manageable at all.
Been worse. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I think
No, that's
MegaCon.
I.
Yeah, go on, sorry.
Well, no, just kind of like that's. I didn't realize it was the RDS, and that
Mm.
makes sense. Like it is a literally purpose built convention space.
Yes.
Um, so that it makes sense. I was at an MCM there. Jeez, I don't know how many years ago now. So it's been a long while. So, but
Mm.
I remember it being like just a form factor that suited it. And I've been to other just like different kind of like tech or college or what have you conventions there that have all been very well laid out. Um, and like that's the thing that always kind of got my goat about Dublin Comic Con is its relationship and its consistency in staying in the National Convention Center. It's just not a building that suits it that suits that structure.
Yeah.
Like the RDS is much better at having kind of things spaced out and laid out. I went to DCC twice before I found out where the artist alley was. Things in that building are just hidden
Yeah.
in a
No,
way
no,
that
I
like things in the RDS
yeah.
aren't.
Yeah, no, I agree. And I don't mean to like slag off DCC. We have a great time at that too.
Yeah,
But
no, but like that's I like it. This is more of a kind of a complaint about the layout of the convention center as a building.
yes, yes, yes. But what I think because like I really I'll get into why I specifically enjoyed MegaCon this particular one in a minute. But like I really think that like MegaCon as it's currently structured in Dublin is like the best of both worlds because you know yourself from us doing panels and stuff like that. There's two types of Comic Con type things, for lack of a better term. You've got your big scale DCC type things where there's big queues and you might get a free can of Red Bull and it's massive and that's good in its own way because you see lots more costumes and like they might get bigger celebrities and that kind of stuff, but it's also got its drawbacks, which is it's difficult to get around, it's hot, expensive probably, all that kind of stuff. And then on the opposite end of the spectrum you've got like the college conventions, which, are cool and nice and run by people with passion, but at the same time, it does usually boil down to an artist's alley, maybe a voice actor, and like a locally done competition. No shame on that, but
Yeah, like
like
a question of scale. Like,
yeah, that's a good way of putting it. Usually there'd be cute things like, lots of little arts and crafts demonstrations, like panels done by, let's be real, people like us, and
yeah.
stuff like that.
Professional podcasters.
Yeah. We've done DCC too. I don't know why I'm shading us, but you know what I mean. Like, local kind of,
No, like that's it.
yeah,
What you sacrifice in like actual like mainstream appeal, you make up for in kind of homegrown like community
yeah,
building.
yeah. Yeah, like, and I think MegaCon is right in the sweet spot because it's easy to get to. It's not expensive. Me and my wife went to for one day for like combined tickets, like 25 quid, something like that. The kids were
Mm.
free, up to the age of like 10 or something like that. You can do the whole room in like 20 minutes. There's loads of local artists. Like a friend of mine who's like an up and coming cosplayer. She's like she was like one of the main hosts. And so
Mm.
obviously they're like sourcing local talent, which is always really cool to see. Nothing was like overpriced. I got to get signatures from like five or six kind of actors I really wanted to meet for somewhere in the range of 150 to 200 quid. The panels were run really nicely. They were all like half an hour long. And now maybe this is just a personal thing because I'm a parent, but like we were able to do everything we wanted to do in an hour and a half, 2 hours, and the kids got to have their own time on the trampolines and all that. And we got to do the art and watch a competition and watch panels. And we never felt like we were under time pressure or space
Mm.
pressure, if you know what I mean. And I feel like this has the best bits of like the big cons because you get to like, see the cool cosplayers and meet the famous people, but also the smallness of like the local artists and no time, space, or room pressure, you know?
Yeah, yeah. No, that sounds great. Like it act like that's you're really selling me on it.
Mm. Yeah, we
Um,
look forward to this. Like my daughter's 5 and she's like all year round because we've done it 3 times now. She's like, when are we going back to MegaCon? When are we going back to MegaCon? Like, I did see someone on Facebook complaining that there wasn't a lot of spaces to sit down, but I would consider that a con-wide problem. Like
yeah.
there was still cafes and that kind of stuff. The only thing I could have done without is they had like a karaoke machine near like all the Eddie Rockets trucks and all that kind of stuff. But even then, it's still cute because it's like people trying it out and having fun. It's not like a
Yeah, that's
giant
it.
speaker
That's a
playing
subjective
Ghostbusters over and
quality.
over or something like that.
Yeah, yeah. No, that's more of a subjective quality on who's ever singing at the time, you know.
Indeed. Yeah,
And
yeah.
no, that's great. How long is Do you know how long MegaCon's been going for, or is it kind
I
of
honestly don't. No, I'm
ten,
not
maybe a
really
10 plus
privy
year thing?
to industry stuff. I can sort of tell from the website that it's like at very least a decade to 15 years old, just because I can sort of see the
Okay,
guests they had back in the day. But
okay. So it's not brand new though.
no, it's not new. But like I think it's gaining. I think they've been very clever in stressing the family friendly element because, like, again, to quote someone I won't name, like she said that DCC is getting very broified. And
Hmm.
she said that in relation to the fact they had like all the Halo stars and the Terminator stars in like the same year. So that's attracting the gamers, which is attracting gamer cosplayers, like all that kind of stuff. Like I
Yeah.
saw, like my sister pointed out at MegaCon, there were like 3 cosplayers from like I think maybe it was Watch Dogs, and they were walking at MegaCon and they were walking around with like the fake guns and like the skull masks and the heavy
Hmm.
duty gear. And she was like, that makes me uncomfortable because it was all cute stuff apart from that.
Yeah.
All either teenagers wearing their first like anime cosplay or young families. And it's like, yeah, but that would have been all DCC.
Yeah.
Loads of
Like
Halo
that's
armor, loads of this, loads of that.
yeah. No, like that was I remember I think it was it's certainly the last ACC I went to, probably the spring one last year.
Mm.
I went because they had the Baldur's Gate 3 actors who were
Yes.
lovely.
Yeah.
My friends of mine got like signatures from them. They were an absolute delight. The queues were incredibly short for them because
Mm.
right next to them were the 3 leads from GTA, where there was
Wow.
just a crowd.
Yeah, I cannot stress enough, zero queues. at
Yeah.
at like MegaCon, and I hope that means that the actors